This depopulation program is one of the most clandestine, but one of the most prolific of the entire New World Order agenda, because it encompasses the food we eat, the water we drink, the fluoride that's put in the water that causes cancers and other ailments, the big pharma drugs that I say that causes all these side effects, deadly side effects, kill people. Look at the side effects when you're listening to. Watch the next commercial that comes on TV. It'll blow you away. They always say, "Oh, it causes cancer," But meanwhile, the lady's smiling and she's, holding a puppy while they say it causes cancer. So you're not thinking about cancer; you're thinking about the puppy. It's terrible. It's like really deceptive. And then you also have the geoengineering, the chemtrails, all of the aluminum, strontium, and barium that is pumped into our atmosphere with all of these trails coming out. This has been discovered. They know this is happening. You have Fukushima, you have the water, you have all of this stuff going on. And then you have the vaccines. And the other aspect of this is the pharmaceutical drugs. Like what happened now with this guy, this madman. He's probably on pharmaceutical drugs. He probably was. It's really, really out of control. And the more that things change, the more they stay the same. But you have to understand that there was a report from Iron Mountain that came out in 1961. The Kennedy administration led a study group which looked into the problems of peace. It met at Iron Mountain, a huge underground corporate nuclear shelter near the Hudson, where the CFR think tank, the Hudson Institute, is located. It actually has redundant offices in case of meltdown for Exxon Mobil, Royal Dutch Shell, and J.P. Morgan Chase. At this location, a copy of the group's discussions, known as the Report from Iron Mountain, was leaked by a participant and published in 1967 by Dial Press. Quote, "War itself is the basic social system within which other secondary modes of social organization conflict or conspire. War is the principal organizing force, the essential economic stabilizer of modern societies." The group worried that the ambiguous leadership, the ruling administrative class, might lose its ability to rationalize a desired war, leading to the actual disestablishment of military institutions. The report goes on to say that war system could not be responsibly allowed to disappear until we know what we plan to put in its place. So the basic authority of a modern state over its people resides in its war powers. War has served as the last great safeguard against the elimination of necessary classes. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? It tells you that war is going to be constant, and that's how they keep their control. And we keep going to war, and we keep fighting, and there'll be the war on terror, the war on drugs, the war on poverty.
What was that song title? War? What is it good for? Absolutely
war, absolutely
nothing.
Exactly. It really is true. The report from Iron Mountain goes on to propose a proper role for those of the lower classes, crediting military institutions with providing antisocial elements with an acceptable role in the social structure. The younger and more dangerous of these hostile social groupings have been kept under control by the selective service system. A possible surrogate for the control of potential enemies of society is the reintroduction, in some cases or form, which consistent with modern technology and political process, of slavery. The development of a sophisticated form of slavery may be an absolute prerequisite for social control in a world at peace. Well, that's what I keep talking about. That's what I keep talking about with this, embracing your servitude, embracing this system that enslaves you and actually liking it. Aldous Huxley talks about that. That is the ultimate revolution, is what it's known as. Link to that can be found on howardnema.com. I have links to all this information, can be found there. There's about 400 different categories that you can gain information and links to. It really does have quite a bit of information, and please check out howardnema.com. Moving along, there's just so much stuff. The DU that they use in the bombs in these wars, the depleted uranium shells. caused cancer in the subsequent generations of all of the Iraqi people. And that continues to this day, and there are many soldiers that have been affected by depleted uranium. Soldiers have 5 times the rate of cancer, returning veterans, and they have 5 times the rate of all neurological diseases, 5 times the rate of all psychological disorders as well. So what does that tell you about war? What is it good for there?
Nothing.
Nothing. Right. It's good for nothing. It really is unbelievable. So the U.S. also tested numerous top high-secret weapons in the Gulf theater while utilizing low-frequency favorites. As I mentioned earlier, I told you about Dr. Jose Delgado, who studied mind control for the CIA at Yale University during the 1950s as part of the MK-Ultra program. Delgado determined physical control of many brain functions is a demonstrated fact. It is even possible to create and follow intentions by electronic stimulation of specific cerebral structures, movements that can be induced by radio command, by remote control. According to a military document written by Colonel Paul Valley and Major Michael Aquino, titled From PSYOP to Mind War, The Psychology of Victory, the U.S. Army used an operational weapon system to map the minds of neutral and enemy individuals and then to change them in accordance with the U.S. natural interests. Well, there we go. What is war good? That's right. Exactly.
Nothing.
It's worth nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. It's very true. And very interesting, speaking about Major Michael Aquino, after Vietnam, Aquino moved to San Francisco and founded the Temple of Set. Set is the ancient Egyptian name for Lucifer. Aquino is now a senior U.S. military intelligence agent at the time, and he was given top secret security clearance. That's right. Temple of Set was obsessed with military matters and political fascism, and it was especially preoccupied with the Nazi Order of the Trapezoid. Aquino's official job was a history professor at Golden Gate College. Very interesting, right? Things you don't know. The Presidio scandal that came up, that child sex trafficking scandal, and child sexual abuse and satanic ritual abuse, which occurred in the late 80s. That's where that whole thing came. A lot of bad stuff. A lot of bad stuff. These are really some dangerous people. And we also have to understand how much they want to control us.
Oh, good Lord, there's that word again. Control.
It's really true. Dr. Carl Sanders, a highly acclaimed electronics engineer, revealed that a microchip project he launched to help people with severe spinal cords was taken over by the Bill Colby's Operation Phoenix, which is a CIA operation, in a series of meetings organized by Henry Kissinger. Sanders says the optimal spot for a microchip implant is just below the hairline of a person's forehead, since the device can be recharged by changes in the body temperatures, which are the most pronounced there. Interestingly, this is also the location of the pineal gland, or the third eye. The chip can also be planted in the hand. Researchers at Southern California have developed a chip which mimics the hippocampus, the part of the brain that deals with memory. Pentagon officials are interested in using it in experiments to create a super soldier. Well, maybe this psychopath or people like him are super soldiers. You know, that's what I'm talking about. This is where the pieces of the puzzle start to fit together, where we're talking about this this guy that goes in and shoots up a church. We talk about Lanza. We talk about a lot of these shootings. We talk about the Oklahoma City. We talk about the World Trade Center. Both of the events. And there's just so much evidence of them being false flag events, which is what they all were, where we actually allowed the bomb to be made and supervised the bomb that went off at the World Trade Center in 1993. Remember that?
That's crazy.
It's true. Ahmad Salem recorded a conversation with an FBI agent and got him on the record, and it's true. It's like they supervised the construction of the bomb, and then he didn't want the bomb to go off, but the FBI wanted it to go off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it happened. And it didn't take the building down because it wasn't put in the right spot or whatever, or maybe it wouldn't have taken the building down anyway. But it achieved their goal, whatever that is. War, right? Because what did we have right after that? We had another war, right? Mm-hmm. We had, you know, soon after that occurred, we had Clinton's going about the Bosnia, Clinton shooting some missiles, you know, killing some people, you know, changing some regimes. I mean, this is what we do. That's what we do. It's really true. And the Gulf War decimated Iraq's sewers and their water treatment systems, and that's one of the reasons a lot of them died so much. 1.5 million Iraqi children died as a result of these sanctions as of 2001. It's up to 2 million now. Isn't that unbelievable? So they're still dying. So it's this gradual, you know, incremental death. They just keep it going, you know, and they try to have the death count exceed the birth count. So they try to target women, and they target children, and they target, because if there are no children, then there's no generation after them. So it's really a long-term plan, and if we don't watch out, we could become victims of these evil bastards even more than we already are. Because we make no mistake about it, these people are causing us all the misery in the world, all of the wars and all of the famine and all of the pain and all the economic misery. You could thank this small group of insiders. Oh, how they'll love it. And then, of course, we have Iran. So the two countries that don't have a Rothschild central bank, since this whole war on terrorism and this whole current Middle East crisis has been developing, results in Iran. Syria is pretty much cooked because they're gonna take care of Syria and get that central bank in there anyway, with all the conflict and corruption there. So two countries that are mortal enemies, Iran and North Korea. And guess what? They're going to figure out a way to do that too. Topple the regime, put in a Rothschild central bank. It's textbook. It's modus operandi. This is what they do. And this is what they've used our army to do since the creation of the National Security Act in 1947 and the creation of the CIA and the NSA, of course. Wake up. You know, this is the reality of it all. So what we have is this system that's killing people, you know, as a machine. It's like a product. Murder people, you know, just depopulate them through, you know, all of these different industries. What they're, you know, the soda industries. People drink. They have to drink, so they put all this crap in the soda. I'm so happy to hear that the FDA is actually doing something good. They're actually going to be looking at eliminating trans fats, which I think is cool, that they're actually looking at something that actually will prevent disease. I don't know how far it'll go. In 1979, they almost banned food additives. We'd have saved a lot of people with cancer, but that's why they put the food additives in. So...
But they want to take away the water.
Oh, yeah.
But you need the water to put the additives and all the other crap in your food and your drinks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can go off like with the stuff like eco. Did you ever read a book by John P. Holdren, who's the current science czar of Obama? They talked about reducing the population by putting sterilants in the food and the water supply. In his book Eco Science. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting.
You know, it's just disgraceful. It's evil is the right word. You know, they believe the world is the way they see it and how they want it, and they're going to make it that way, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, we're going to kill you. Basically, that's how it works out. But we're going to do it in such a way where, you know, you're murdered through slow attrition, which is what's going on here. You know, it's a silent weapon fought by quiet wars. In fact, the first Bilderberg meeting, they came up with this concept of silent weapons of quiet wars, and the intent was to control the financial systems of the world and to control the economy, which they pretty much accomplished, and at the same time institute all of these depopulation measures through the Club of Rome. This is what I'm talking about, what it's all about, and it is the truth. So what we had here is a guy named Dennis Halliday, who was the former Assistant Secretary of the UN, who had headed up the UN humanitarian program to Iraq, he resigned in protest because the sanctions were demolishing the very class of Iraqi people who the U.S. and the UN claimed they wanted to create a better government for. What a shock. Hey, listen, it's the law of reversal with the New World Order. Everything they say or do, they do the opposite. So when they say they're going to give you freedom and liberty and prosperity...
I lied.
They're going to give you tyranny. They're going to give you slavery and pain. I mean, it's
shocking.
It's shocking that people can't see this because it happens over and over again. Obama, what did Obama say? Shovel-ready jobs. I haven't seen a shovel in 7 years.
Just like Bush said, no more taxes. And what does he do?
Right, you can keep going to the same route. Exactly. Nixon, I'm not a crook. I mean, it just goes,
okay.
That's what I'm saying. It goes, it's like, it's this so constant that that the repetition of the lie has gotten us all, like Goebbels said, right? The repetition of the lie has gotten us to be stuck into this thing. Yuri Bezamenev, who's a defector, talks about this in the demoralization of America. It's going to take, they do it through the schools and through all the education system, and all these things are coming true. They're all happening. We could see the result of it. We're in the middle of it.
I'm a liar, but I'm glad you can't see it, so I'll just let it continue.
Right, and I'm black, and
you're a black.
I'm a black.
What was the animal you used?
I thought I said I don't remember actually.
You're a white man.
Some
You're
type
a black
of bird.
man trapped in a white man's body.
Yeah, I'm a black. I was born a poor black child. Do you remember? Did you ever see The Jerk? Remember
that? Yes.
I was born a poor black child. Unbelievable. It's just incredible because all this stuff is going on. They talk about all of this. There's civil unrest. For a few years, we had a decrease in crime, so then all of a sudden we had to have all the civil unrest, and now crime is on the rise again. We see the rise of radical Islam and the ongoing continuous and genocidal war on terror, like the war on drugs, the war on cancer, and the war on poverty. These measures have greatly increased the death rate and prison populations. The U.S. is the largest jailer in the world. 716 Americans per 100,000 are in jail. Prison, that's right. That's more than China, Russia, North Korea, or any other authoritarian totalitarian country.
What about this Jade Helm stuff?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't even touch it.
We haven't touched it too much. I mean, I haven't done enough research on what's actually happening, but I've heard that they scared some folks, with these tactics, but they do give them notice. What scares me most about this thing, Keith, is really that their idea is to infiltrate communities and to integrate with the community.
They gave Walmart a 2-hour notice prior to closing.
Yeah, well, at least they told them. Everyone would be a lot of people changing their underwear if they didn't, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's a psyop. I think it's a conditioning measure, a little bit of trying to condition them to accept this type of behavior. Like these drills continue. If this happens and nothing happens, and they do it next time and nothing happens, they keep doing it. Everyone's sort of conditioned to them happening, and then shit starts to happen, and then we still got to continue doing these drills.
And then they get caught with their panties down.
It could be.
Document.
Yep.
Check this out.
Operations Command for the U.S. Army may be preparing to blend in during its mock engagement of hostile populations in the U.S. Southwest this summer. But first it is going on the offense to counter the claims of conspiracy theorists about the true nature of the controversial Jade Helm 15 exercises. The Army Times reported. The U.S. Army Special Operations Command says that, contrary to reports circulating on conspiracy websites, it has no plans to invade Texas. Some fringe websites have paraded a PowerPoint presentation, reportedly from USASOC, as evidence of Jade Helm 15, a series of military exercises across California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, and Texas. They say it will train the U.S. military to suppress American citizens rebelling in the coming military coup or civil war. It's a training exercise. Just a regular training exercise? Lastoria said of Jade Helm. which USASOC documentation references, as a training exercise in at least one previous year as well. The article singled out reports from InfoWars and All News Pipeline, among others stressing concern about the preparations for martial law. Conspiracy websites painted language regarding civilian impact as revealing of the true nature of the mission to prepare for abducting dissidents from their homes. Many of the conspiracy sites have focused in on the selection of Texas as a hostile territory. To them, a high degree of libertarian support, pro-gun leanings and patriotism make Texas a target. The slides also mark Utah and a pocket in Southern California as hostile, while New Mexico is uncertain in terms to leading hostile, and Arizona is uncertain in terms to leaning friendly. The presentation slides say the area was chosen for its large undeveloped tracts of land and low population density. Texas in particular was chosen as the hub of the operation, because it has been traditionally military-friendly. Easing the impact or alarm the forces presence might impose on localities. According to the slides, though disputing any ill intent, the Army Times admits that the Jade Helm drill is real, and that soldiers have trained for the approach mastering the human domain. Before a civilian research project paper from the U.S. Army Special Operations Forces states, the human domain is the totality of the physical, cultural and social environments that influence human behavior to the extent that success of any military operation or campaign depends on the application of unique capabilities that are designed to fight and win population-centric conflicts. It is a critical and complementary concept to the recognized domains of land, air, maritime, space and cyberspace. In an apparent predecessor to the drill, officers wrote on the need to project military operations and occupation efforts into the human domain in order to engage the social, political, and economic sphere seen as critical for mission success.
What do you get from this?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They want to infiltrate the communities, and they want to make a smooth transition when they go for this. I don't think that. Look, I mean, anything is possible, but my viewpoint is that would be like a psyop, thinking that they're going to do these exercises to extricate patriots or anything from their homes. I doubt that. It's possible. I mean, it can happen, but I think it's more along the lines of whatever event that they're planning, the big event. The catalyst was 9/11. As huge and horrible as that was just the catalyst. It's just what got this story moving. The Illuminati's plan, and the big event is yet to come. And when the big event comes, that's what they're planning for, whatever that planning. And right now, if this was a movie, if life was a movie, we'd be in the rising conflict after the catalyst, and sure does seem like we're in that. So I think a lot of this is scripted. I think a lot of this is all part of a plan that's been very well crafted and polished to convince the population of an agenda, while right before their very eyes they're depopulating this planet, right before our very eyes. 70% of the people in prison, they're in prison because they broke some sort of law. They didn't do crime against someone. They didn't take anyone's property. They didn't harm anyone's property. They didn't do a crime against a person. They broke a law. 70% of the people in prison. I mean, that is terrible. That's not what the founders intended, that we spend our lives in prison, and then the cost of that. And most of these prisons are private prisons. Forget about it. Unbelievable. So the World Health Organization recently released a report noting that the cancer rates, as I mentioned, are going to go up 57%. Remember that in 20 years?
Yep.
Okay. More importantly, why do they know this? And why are they not telling people about the main contributing factors to this, like geoengineering, fluoride, GMO, pharmaceuticals, and other toxins? Why do they just say what the result is? Why don't they talk about why? No, because they can't let us know. But this is why, because of all of these factors. I mean, this is the truth. More and more of the products that the FDA approves have cancer-causing side effects. Same thing with the water. Fluoride in the water causes cancer. It's unbelievable. They put all sorts of radiologicals also in the water supply. I mean, this is not my opinion. Now, don't you think it's unusual that almost every new drug that's approved by the FDA has cancer, death, heart attack, or sudden death, or any other horrible disorder as a side effect, and people are smiling and saying that that's okay? And why should you have to ask your doctor? Shouldn't he know? I mean, shouldn't your doctor know if you need these drugs? Why do you have to ask your doctor if Humira is right for you? Ask your doctor if cancer is right for you. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. Okay, I guess in wrapping this all up today, we should keep looking at this information. There's a lot of it to go over. I'll try to segue some more next week and maybe just give a free flow of ideas and see what's going on in the world and do a report next Thursday. See how things are going, and we'll just get a dialogue. Maybe we can get some phone calls next time. Remember, it's 860-626-5193. I'm Howard Nema. Thank you for listening to Truth Talk News. Check out howardnema.com and check out Truth Talk News on YouTube. And thanks again to Keith and Melissa here at UnitedRadioFM.com. I'm Howard Nema. Take care.
We are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy to get people actually to love their servitude. First of all, to standardize the population, to iron out inconvenient human differences, to create, so to say, mass-produced models of human beings arranged in some kind of a scientific caste system. A number of the predictions which were purely fantastic when I made them 30 years ago have come true, or seem in process of coming true. That a number of techniques about which I talk seem to be here already, and that there seems to be a general movement in the direction of this kind of ultimate revolution, this method of control by which people can be made to enjoy a state of affairs which, by any decent standard, they ought not to enjoy.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.